Australians of Reddit, since no peace treaty has been signed to officially conclude the Emu War, how has life in this constant state of war been for you? It is the 41st millennium. For 10,000 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the Aya's throne. He is the master of Australia by the will of the gods and master of millions of blokes by the inexhaustible might of his armies. But for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat to humanity from invasive species, genetic mutations, and far worse. These are the tales of those times. Forget the promise of scientific progress and conservation. There is no peace amongst the outback, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only the Emu War. The long-necked FKs are just waiting for the opportune moment. Considering our country is weakened and divided by COVID, they are more than likely about to make a move in the coming weeks. We've kind of reached a balance of mutually assured destruction. We don't bring in the tanks and nukes, they don't bring in the cassowaries and drop bears. Who do you think started the fires? Pretty brutal really. My dad was attacked by an emu once. He is bald and his head is a little shiny. He was sitting on a bench at a wildlife park and the emu must have been attracted to the shiny reflection, snuck up behind him, and bit his head. I have never seen someone jump so far in one leap before or since. As a child this traumatized me a little and now I'm pretty uneasy around all kind of birds. Firstly, thanks for bringing this issue up. It often feels like nobody cares. This is just what the emu loyalists want. Secondly, the war efforts themselves are an ongoing struggle for me and my unfeathered brethren. We try to stick our necks out on war-related issues, but the emus have always had us covered here as evolution has been kind to them when it comes to neck-related advancements and rhetoric. Lastly, our underground movements are gaining traction thanks to the tireless work of the Wombat Alliance and the Eye in the Sky Koala efforts are proving vital to our current and future progress on the front lines. Hope for a COVID vaccine that doesn't work on emus is still in the works, but hope is on the horizon. We took back the cities, but it's in our minds that any day could be the day that we need to pick up our whacking sticks to defend our BBQ retreats from another invasion. As a resident of Western Australia, where the majority of the battles have taken place, I'm constantly reminded of this ongoing conflict. Every day I see emus, every day emus see me. We see each other as enemies, yet we are the same. Two species grown to fight amongst each other, based on the mistakes of our forefathers. Our emotions, our feelings, our hatred, all defined by our history and surroundings. It has defined our past, it defines our present. However, when I see these flightless aviarians, I see not a faulted species, but a mirror of ourselves. We have only known this conflict, but we shall not be defined by it. Neither of our species can fly, but with peace as a possibility, perhaps we can both soar. After months of negotiations, the koalas and kangaroos are now our allies. We had to give the kangaroos half of Sydney as part of the terms. The large emus left in Sydney are ostrich-sized. Some of them are immovable. Well, for starters, my area was stolen from the emus when we drove them off the land. We've built a fine community in its place. The emus have yet to take this land back. Until then, I have yet to see a wild emu anywhere near here. If it were not for the war, I wouldn't be where I am today. People don't really think about it. We are all preoccupied, watching in horror as our rebel kangaroos conquer Uruguay. We are moving into spring. It is a terrifying time for us all as their allies the magpies launch sorties. Pray for us. East Asia has always been at war with Emu Nation. Currently in the green zone, otherwise known as Tasmania, everything is back to normal life now. Things got scary for a little while, but our premier looked after us. Got our borders shut down early and it's paid off. Everyone knows that emus can't fly over the Bass Strait, so we knew that would be advantageous in our victory against the feathered folks. But the rest of Australia, known to us Tasmanians as the mainland, has never fully recovered. Recent reports are showing they have some form of plague there at the moment. Horrid stuff. Onwards and upwards. The fight against the feather never ends. I'm in Tasmania, so unless they develop the ability to navigate the strait, then I should be pretty okay. Unless they're hired dolphin mercenaries to ferry them across, of course. We have sharpshooters constantly manning the northern beaches on lookout for them though, so that'd be a daring move on their behalf. You laugh, but having run into these FKs in the wild, I tell you, they would kill you and everyone you love. We never travel alone. Outside of the city walls, we drive in convoys of at least half a dozen vehicles. Some of them armored with machine gun turrets. If we are lucky, we get air cover. Australia has bigger problems surely. We've been at war with the sun for almost ever. Every day I live in constant fear of the emu's inevitable swift and bloody reprisal. I wouldn't wish for anyone to have to live this way, but all we can do is take each day as it comes. My great uncle Bazza has it worse. He fought in the war and it still hurts him to this very day. He can't even see a chicken without having a complete meltdown now. For me, by far the hardest thing about living under the shadow of the emu is hold on. I think something just breached the birdseed perimeter outside my bunker. I hope they don't make it past the line of hanging CDs. I'm gonna go check it. I think you mean constant state of fear. They could return at any moment. It's tough, but we found a way to survive by developing an edible emu repellent. It's called Vegemite, and if eaten daily by the entire population, it works to discourage the emus from coming too close to civilization and terrorizing us. Every day, I live in fear my family will never know peace, fear the giant dino bad will King Kong my acid, my mother left without a daughter, no purpose, she joins the emus to destroy them from the inside, a goal to keep her from ending it all, but she forgot to take into consideration she may like the gorilla birds, she falls for him at all. Usain Bolt, alligator looking ass bird, she takes her first human life, she loves it. I was in Aussie at Christmas. Holy FCK, everything was on fire, and now I hear people in Melbourne can't even leave their houses.